Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Persephone and today we are going to continue the 30 fetish video challenge, and I have to say so far it's going pretty well and we get plenty of subscribers from those videos. So today we are going to talk about a very interesting fetish, the blackmail fetish, and believe it or not, there are people who get turned on and actually pay to be blackmailed. There is a very big difference because this is consensual blackmail, which means that it's a form of roleplay. Usually you don't take things to the extreme and the person agrees and wants to be blackmailed. So actual blackmail is a crime and you're going to be in very big trouble if you start doing it either online or in real life. And now that we made this thing clear, because I don't want this video to actually encourage people to blackmail others, we're going to move to the fun stuff. Blackmail fetish is very interesting because it has many different forms and we are going to examine all of them, and I'm also going to tell you that if you are on the BDSM or Findom community, how you can use it to make serious money easily. First of all, it includes as usual a slave and a mistress, and from what I have seen, the slave is someone that usually leads a double life or is married or has a boyfriend if he's gay, and in general, he's surrounded by people that they don't know about the fact that he's into BDSM or he has fetishes, and usually they have a completely different opinion about him. So what the slave does is, depending on his fetish, he gives source and proof of critical information to the mistress, and then he pays her every week so that she won't disclose the information to his job, his friends, his family, and so on. What kind of information is that? If the slave is a cross-dresser, for example, he could take pictures on ladies' underwear or dresses or whatever he likes to wear, and the mistress or the goddess is going to keep those pictures, and unless he pays her the specific agreed amount of money or he does the tasks that she wants him to do if he's a work slave, she is going to reveal the information and he's going to be in very bad. He's going to have it very bad. If he's not into cross-dressing, it can involve him writing. Usually I have seen a lot of slaves writing on their body with paint or with lipstick, property of goddess A or property of empress B, and she keeps those pictures and she can show them in her own BDSM social media, and usually there are other slaves or other masters and mistresses making fun of the slave. There are cases that there is no proof involved because the person who wants to be blackmailed wants to keep it as an actual role play. So I know mistresses who say that I'm threatened to expose this person, but I don't actually have pictures or anything. And it's more just because he likes to feel trapped or he likes to feel exposed. And this is actually something that he enjoys, so he pays to have it done. Mostly those days when people refer to blackmail, it includes TeamViewer. For those of you that you don't know what that is, TeamViewer is a program that allows you to control a computer from a distance and to have access to a computer from a distance. And originally it was made to be used in PowerPoint presentations and stuff. But I think now the BDSM community uses it more than the actual companies that created it. What happens is that the slave has the TeamViewer program installed on his computer, and so does the mistress or the princess or the empress. Every time you have that computer, you have an ID and a password that gives you access to the computer. So the mistress gets the password and she can see what's inside the slave's computer. I support the theory that TeamViewer has many levels, usually 10, because in BDSM it's always great to have very well-defined boundaries set early on to avoid misunderstandings and hurt and potential problems. So on level 1, what happens is that the mistress is allowed to snoop around to the computer, has agreed to check what's in there, but she's not allowed to do any changes, to remove files or to add files or stuff like that. The more the level gets higher, the more the level of control gets higher. For example, you can check what's inside the person's computer and download files. You can download his porn. You can install your own pictures without him knowing. And in the highest levels, There are mistresses who have access to bank accounts, to credit card passwords, to Facebook passwords, and pretty much know everything that is going on. There are cases when there is a lot of money involved that actual slaves may have legal contracts with the mistresses that they define how much money they're going to use and what they're going to do with the info to avoid potential exposure, especially when the client is someone famous or someone very rich and there is a lot at stake. You should never sign up anything, no matter how much money are being promised to you, unless your own lawyer sees it, because you can be the one in trouble or you can be the one scammed. I think that the BDSM world is fun, but you have to be careful always when you're having fun. So the mistress goes through the slave's account, and if he is a bad boy, she can choose to actually lock him outside of his computer, or she can choose to do stuff that he doesn't want done. Usually, the slaves fantasize about financial ruin and having their life ruined, but they don't want to end up sleeping in their car because their wife or their boyfriend kicked them out because you send them pictures with lipstick all over their body or something. So it's good to keep things under perspective and to realize that all of this is consensual. Although there are cases of mistresses and masters who got very greedy and proceeded in actual blackmail, and this is the fastest way to land yourself in jail, or even worse, get harassed by people who do not understand fetishes. They are on this person's social circle and they're not going to see with a good eye what you're doing. They're going to see it as exploitation and not as a form of sexual role-play game. Now, normal viewers are going to ask me, okay, Persephone, what is this brain Ebola? Like, why would someone want to be controlled like that? I believe there are many different kinds of people, and as I always say, fetishes are in fact a way to express unmet needs from the formative years in life. Check the 5 psychosexual stages online, Google it, and you'll see what I mean. So there are people who actually having someone owning them and controlling their finances give them a sense of safety and control that they lack in their life. Or there are people who are generally going to be taken advantage of all the time because they are conditioned and raised to constantly provide, or they are conditioned and raised to be people pleasers, and this puts a brake on their self-destructive attitude. That's why they choose it. And of course, there are guys who are very lonely. That exists in every line of sex work, and they want to interact and have a beautiful woman in their life who is the bossy type, and they're willing to pay for that. Now to the practical part. You are new in Fiendom and you want to get into this whole blackmail thing. Where do you start? If you have followed what I said in the previous videos, you should already be having at least a Twitter, a Tumblr, and other fetish side pages where you promote yourself. Usually you don't have to do anything. The people who are interested in blackmail, they are going to find you and they are going to message you. And they're going to tell you things like, I want you to trap me, I want you to blackmail me, I want you to expose me, and so on. In those cases, like I said earlier, it's extremely crucial for you to establish boundaries early on, because for some reason this fetish has a lot more crazies than other fetishes. For example, I know a master who had a slave that he wanted to be exposed and blackmailed in random times during the day whenever he felt like it, and he ended up being so toxic that he was harassing an entire community. So it's good in those cases to actually start slow, start with level 1, checking someone around, asking not very compromising pictures, and see how it goes. And if you see that the slave is obedient and you work things well, you can move on to higher levels. If not, then I would say cut your losses early on, because it's not worth the trouble that is going to find you later. It's a very easy thing to do. It doesn't require actual things from you to do a lot other than checking or keeping pictures. The most complicated thing I have seen so far is someone giving the password to other slaves, a goddess giving the password to other slaves that she has, so that the other slaves can access the blackmailed person's computer. That's the more I've seen being asked from someone. And there are people who specifically do TeamViewer and enjoy it, especially masters and mistresses, I mean. So it's good if you're interested in that and you want to try it, to state in your social media that you do TeamViewer or you do blackmail and you're interested in meeting slaves who like that. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we're going to come back soon with a new fetish video. So if you like this content, please share and subscribe.